Hello and good morning everyone. My name is Laura. This is my channel, Laura's Little Library, and welcome to a writing vlog. So this is going to be my NaNoWriMo writing vlog. I am starting it quite a bit late. It is actually already November 8th. So I'm already a week into the challenge and I just haven't picked up the camera to vlog, even though I kind of knew I wanted to do it. However, this is going to be a month-long vlog process. I'm not doing it week by week or splitting it up into 2 vlogs. I just don't think I'll have enough interesting footage to do that, so this is just going to be one month-long vlog where I update you on my writing process. So I am going to do the full NaNoWriMo goal. I never actually signed up through NaNoWriMo, so if I do meet the goal, I won't get any of the benefits or recognition. I don't really care about that. I'm doing this for me, so as I said, it is already November 8th and I have a spread in my bullet journal this month to help me keep track of my writing. So I've got like a calendar and I have written at the bottom of each day the goal of how many words I should have so that by the last day of November I hit 50,000. And then I have space down here if I want to take any notes about the story, or I mean, I keep my notes for the story other places, but I just figured with that extra space I should dedicate it towards my writing, and it's going pretty well. I have fallen behind, I will say that, so I should be by the end of today, by the end of yesterday, I needed to be at about 11,662 words. I am currently still at 6,900 words, so I have 4,000 words to catch up from yesterday, and then I can start doing today's actual goal, which is, another 2,000-ish words. So I have quite a bit to catch up on, but honestly, this is the best that I have ever done for not just NaNoWriMo, but just writing in general, so I'm already pretty happy. I never got good at building a writing habit. I always would sit down, get distracted, or I could never settle on one plot that I wanted to do. I'm really good with coming up with novel ideas, and then I start one and then I come up with another idea and then I lose interest in the first one and I start on this new one. So that's always been fun, but I am very committed to this plot and these characters and everything. It very much plays off of a lot of my personal interest and passion, so it's fairly easy for me to stay motivated on sticking with this one book. But basically how this is going to have to work for me. And the other issue, anytime I spend writing is free time. I probably could have also spent reading, and I am much more comfortable reading versus writing. It takes a little bit more of building the habit because I haven't done that. So it's just easy for me to I'll write later and I'll just pick up a book now. But how I've decided to balance it, because my November TBR is huge and I'll have that linked up above. I never remember what side is on, but I'll have my November TBR in case you're interested in what I'm supposed to be reading this month. But because there are so many books I want to read, I really wanted to find a way to balance reading and writing. So I decided for most of the days I have a couple hours in the morning before I go to work, and then a couple hours at night when I come home from work before I go to bed. So I pretty much decided that the morning few hours are going to be dedicated to writing, and then I'm too tired to be too critical of myself, and I can just kind of let it flow, which I think is going to work really well for me. And then the few hours I have after work, I can come home and that'll be my reading time. If I want to write, great, I will. But I think after a long day, my brain will just be really tired and I'll just want to read. So that's kind of the strategy I'm going for. I generally wake up around 8 a.m. and then have to leave for work at like 10:30. So it's 2.5 hours to like wake up, get ready for work, drive my husband to school, and then write the rest of the time. So we'll see if that is enough time. Otherwise, I probably could wake up earlier. I was gonna wake up earlier this morning and then didn't, so oh well. And then I come home 7:30, around 8ish, and then I have like 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed, and that'll be plenty of time for reading. So that's kind of the process of when I'm writing and where I'm at. Now, to give you some background on the book that I am writing, this is not great, and I apologize, but you know, it's a cloudy, rainy day, so I don't have as much natural light. But anyway, so the novel that I am writing has been something that I've been doing research and planning for a very long time. So I am part Irish. My grandmother was Irish, and I really love connecting with that side of my heritage. I do a lot of Irish dancing here in the Twin Cities, and I have been interested in learning the Irish language and going more into Irish music, learning tin whistle and Irish flute and things like that. So I have developed this very strong passion for Irish culture. But if you know my reading taste, you know that mythology-based fantasy is also one of my favorite subgenres of fantasy. And there aren't a lot of Irish or Celtic-based mythology books out there just because of how Irish mythology was purely passed through word, and it wasn't written down until the Catholics came, and then they changed a lot of it to make it fit their faith rather than like mythology being its own religion and its own thing. So it is a pretty interesting thing to attempt to research because there's so many different versions of stories, and especially if you're doing Irish and Celtic, they are technically two different mythologies. However, they are extremely similar. Like in my research, I found so many legends that are very similar. Like even the names and the characters and the premise are the same, but just like little details here and there are different. But then there are some stories in Celtic mythology that I'd never heard of, or stories from Irish mythology that I just can't find anywhere in Celtic mythology. So they are very entwined with each other, but they are not quite the same. And even though a lot of Arthurian and other medieval-based media and celebration has heavy influences from Irish mythology, elves, druids, vampires, like so many things have come from Irish mythology or can be linked to Irish mythology, and we just don't quite realize it. So I am writing a book based on Irish mythology. I'm not doing it based off of one specific legend or one specific myth, although that is an interesting concept and one I'd be willing to dabble with in the future. But I also know that I don't want to only write with Irish mythology. I have so many other fantasy book plots and characters and ideas that I'm not going to make Irish. I just want to start off with this one, especially because this idea actually started as my senior thesis as an English major creative writing minor in university back when I was in university. So that's why I initially started this, but now I'm following it through because it is a passion project. So I'm not using one myth, I'm using multiple myths and characters and whatnot in this book, and so I am very excited to make all these different references and just get people interested in Irish mythology, or maybe read about a mythology they don't know or they don't think they know very much about. That's pretty much what it is. I'm not going to give too many details away, because once I start talking about it, then I'm going to just tell you all the twists and turns, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to give too much more details other than that. I would say it's going well. You know, I'm not letting myself edit, which is a good thing, because if I let myself edit, I will never move forward. And that's why I've never really moved forward with other books, and then I lose interest and come up with a new plot. So I'm just going through it, and if I think something needs to change, I'll just highlight it, make a note, and then move on, and it's been incredible. I've been really enjoying it. So I have my draft up here in front of me. Normally, so I initially got this program called ZenWriter, and that's what I used to use for writing. It was really good about like blocking out distractions. You can set background pictures, you can set noises to your keyboard, and you can set just background noise. You know, it's all about minimizing distractions, but I have decided to just use Google Drive, honestly, because I have figured out that if I put headphones in but not actually listen to anything, that's when I'll be at my most focused. Like, maybe I'll put a fireplace or lo-fi up on the TV, but honestly, just having headphones in and not actually listening to any music, that's what helps me focus best. And so I didn't need any fancy program like ZenWriter to help me stay focused. In terms of where I keep my notes and everything, that's chaotic. That is something that I want to improve upon in the future. I have a folder that is full of character presentations. So it's like when teachers make you do the About Me presentation when you're younger, or like they would do this to international students at my high school all the time. They had to present to at least one class a presentation about who they are, where they're from, and I was like, only the international students have to, like. But I basically took that idea and I do it with my characters. Now I create presentations about my characters, and then I have little mood boards at the end. So that's how I keep track of my characters and their physical details, as well as just other details. And plot, I just kind of have messily on another Google Drive, Google Doc. But I really want to start putting things down in a notebook. I very much enjoy the physical act of writing and having things physically in front of me rather than electronically, which was another reason why I failed to build a writing habit earlier in my life. In middle school, I was the champion of writing stories in a notebook. Like, I had so many composition notebooks, each devoted to a different story that I was writing, and I was really good about like actually writing these stories. But now getting older, I'm like, I just can't have all these notebooks. It's insane. So I did switch to the computer, but I miss having that physical element of writing to it. So I think what I want to do, and I might still do this for my novel yet, just to kind of clean up some details about the plot, is getting a novel and getting a notebook and having it be my plotting book. So I write the plot and details about characters in the book, and I just focus on that until I finish the rough draft or the manuscript, and then I use the next couple of pages for the next book or whatever. So I am hoping to better organize my thoughts. I don't want to pay for any fancy program. And I know there are programs that are free. Like I had one on my phone for quite a while but it was just too complicated, and there were so many things that like didn't relate, or like I wouldn't use it that way. And so I've just found my scattered brained way works for me at the moment, and I will neaten it up, but honestly I don't need to conveniently put it all in one place. But that might just be because I haven't really done it, so I don't actually know how wonderful that would be. But for now, that's what it's gonna be, because I spent so much time in October focusing on spooky season rather than prepping for NaNoWriMo. But that was because I had already started prepping for this while I was in school. Yeah, that's my very long intro about the book and my current progress. I will update when I made significant progress, either like I actually caught up to my goal, or if I go surpassed, or I'm really proud of something. I'll just update kind of whenever, but it will most likely be mostly just in the mornings. So, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get back to it. Hi. Okay. First off, please ignore how gross my hair looks. I'm aware, okay? It's just one of those days. Second off, I'm wearing an arm brace. I'm fine. I just slightly hurt my wrist on Sunday, and because my job requires so much from my wrist that anytime it feels irritated, I put a wrist brace on just to try and reduce some of the irritation when I am not at work. So I'm fine. I'm just wearing this for comfort. And third off, it's November 10. It's November 10. It's a Thursday. So I'm going to do a little writing update. Yesterday I had one of those days where I was writing in the morning, and then I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, I need to go to work. And then I looked back at my manuscript and went, I just put my main character in a suitcase, and this is how I'm leaving it. It felt good. I'm not gonna lie. It felt really good to put my main character in a suitcase and just leave her there all day long. Even though in the story she's only there for like a few minutes. It was just funny to be like, ah, my main character's in a suitcase right now. I haven't taken her out. Ha. Anyway, I don't know why. I just thought that was really fun to share. So on Thursdays, I am meeting up with one of my friends who lives in our apartment building just 2 flights up, and she is also doing NaNoWriMo, and we decided that on Thursdays after I get home from work, we are going to do a weekly check-in, just check up on each other's progress. Are we behind? Are we, like, you know, keep the motivation going. And then we're gonna spend, you know, half an hour to an hour, not a long chunk of time, writing together. So I will be doing that after work. I probably won't film it just because I go to her place and she does not do any sort of social media, things like this, so she probably wants to keep her life private, which is perfectly fine. But that is what I do Thursdays after work. So right now it's Thursday before work, and I was doing some writing, and it got to the point where I've done a lot of research for my novel, but sometimes I still need to go back and look up specifics, and I just wanted to share one of my favorite things. So I did a whole bunch of research, and then I went and found a couple books to purchase that had a lot of the research that I did, but more in a storytelling way. So this is one of them, Irish Fairy Tales. It's just beautiful, isn't it? So I have this, I have one called Celtic Myth and Tales by like the same, it's all part of the same, like not just publisher, but like the same series. They do a whole bunch of mythology and fairy tales from various cultures and beliefs and religions and etc. and so forth. And I love pulling out this one for specific myth reminders. So like right now I'm about to mention the first myth specific story. Like I've mentioned characters from Irish mythology, but now I'm actually going to go into a myth story, and I can never remember the guy's name for some strange reason. I never know. I thought I had a bookmark in here with it. Maybe not. Well, it's a chunker, so. Oh, and it's got these beautiful illustrations. And so this is the Epic Celtic Myths and Tales book. See? Isn't it just beautiful? Like, oh, I love having them on display on my shelves. It makes me feel not just smart, but also pretty. Hi, it's time for an update. It is much later in November. It's a week and a half until the end of NaNoWriMo, and Thanksgiving is this week, and it's not really going well for me. Basically, I haven't written at all last week because of health issues. I have been in and out of urgent care and the hospital, and nobody can really figure it out. So because of it, like, I just haven't been home, but I haven't been doing anything, because, you know, I go to work, but then I spend hours at urgent care, and then I spent like 8 hours at the hospital on Friday, and we had people in town visiting who live in different countries, so we don't get to see them very often. So life has just been chaotic. So that's why I haven't been writing at all. I feel like it's a very valid excuse, but it's also caused me to fall out of the habit of writing. I was just starting to build, so I'm sad, but it's not necessarily my fault. Like, I've been in pain for almost a week, and no one can figure out why, but all we can say is that it's not life-threatening or anything too serious. It's just pain. So yeah, I'm kind of in this rut a little bit where I don't want to pressure myself because I'm not going to be able to catch up. Like, there is no way I'd be able to catch up and complete the goal for NaNoWriMo by the end of November. So right now my focus is just trying to get back into the habit of writing rather than trying to complete my book in November. And I mean, 50,000 words was the goal, but I don't think that would have been the end of the book for me because it is a fantasy. It probably would end up being longer, but also I just have no idea. It honestly just depended on how the writing happened. So this writing vlog is a bit of a dud, but it is what it is. It's my NaNoWriMo vlog. So like I said, we've got just under a week and a half left of November, and I still want to write, and I've got a new goal. I think I would really love to hit 15,000 words, because I'm still at like 8,234 words, I think. I think 15,000 is manageable depending on how everything goes, because like I said, it's Thanksgiving and we have family coming into town, which is super exciting. They're going to be here from Wednesday to Sunday, so they are going to be here for a chunk of time, so I don't want to like not be with them, and they've never been to Minnesota before, and so that's a lot of time, and I'm really excited to spend it with them. But yeah, that's what's going on. So I'm gonna get back to writing as much as I can. Hopefully my pain goes away, and I honestly probably won't update until I say it's the end of the vlog. That being said, the book itself is good. I think because this is my first book and my first rough draft, I definitely feel where there are lull moments, and I can feel it in my writing where I'm like, if I were reading this book, this is kind of where it could slow down and I would be annoyed at that. So I feel like the writing process is the same as my reading process. So hopefully I can just write my way through it, and then when I go back to do my first round of edits, I can make it seem less slow or less boring or whatever in these like between scene parts. So try not to get caught up on that, and I am happy with it so far. I think one thing that I subconsciously focus on is banter between the characters, because I love banter so much between romantic interests in any kind of novel, in fantasy as well as contemporary. So I think I've been just including so much banter, and I don't know if I should keep it all, because Trisha Levenseller's book, Daughter of the Pirate King, that book is almost entirely banter and sexual tension between the two main characters, and I loved that book. That was a 5-star book, and I know a lot of other people liked it, but also I gotta be myself. I gotta be my own writer, and there are elements of books and authors that I enjoy, but in the end this is my book and it's going to be what I want it to be. But I'm just like, the things I enjoy reading I'm incorporating in the writing, which has been really fun. Alright, honestly, we're just gonna have the rest of this be like B-roll. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want me to do more writing focused videos, even outside of NaNoWriMo, let me know. That's not something that I typically brainstorm as a video to do on my channel, but I am definitely open to it, especially because doing something like that will motivate me to keep writing and keep up the habit. So let me know if you want more writing content. Otherwise, if you like my regular bookish content, subscribe. I post twice a week, and those will always be bookish content. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I have social media down below, but otherwise, I wish you happy writing if you're a writer, but if you're here for the book stuff and you're a reader, still, happy reading.